Step back into the grandeur of ancient Egypt and revisit the epic tale that defined a generation. The Ten Commandments, 1956, brought together a legendary cast whose performances still resonate decades later. In this tribute, we honor 30 of those unforgettable actors who have since passed away, sharing not only their iconic roles in the film, but also the remarkable stories of their lives, careers, and final days. Don't miss this journey through Hollywood history and timeless cinematic glory. Charlton Heston portrayed Moses in The Ten Commandments, 1956, when he was 33 years old. Moses, once a prince of Egypt, discovers his Hebrew heritage and undergoes a spiritual transformation, becoming the chosen messenger of God. Renouncing his royal title, he confronts Pharaoh and leads the Hebrew slaves to freedom, performing miracles like parting the Red Sea and receiving the Ten Commandments atop Mount Sinai. Moses evolves from a confident warrior into a humble servant of divine will, embodying faith, justice, and sacrifice. In real life, Charlton Heston was one of Hollywood's most iconic leading men, known for his powerful voice and epic roles. He also starred in Ben-Hur, 1959, winning an Academy Award for Best Actor. Later in life, he became a prominent political activist. Heston was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease in 2002 and passed away on April 5, 2008, at the age of 84, due to pneumonia. His legacy endures as a symbol of cinematic grandeur and classical heroism. Yul Brynner portrayed Ramesses in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at the age of 35. Ramesses, the proud and ambitious pharaoh of Egypt, is Moses' rival both politically and personally. He refuses to release the Hebrew slaves, bringing divine plagues upon his people, yet remains defiant until the loss of his own son breaks his resolve. Obsessed with legacy and power, Ramesses represents the arrogance of man in contrast to Moses' divine mission. His character arc is a tragic fall from omnipotent ruler to broken man. Yul Brynner, known for his distinctive shaved head and commanding presence, became a Hollywood legend with this role and his performance in The King and I, for which he won an Oscar. He starred in over 40 films, including Westworld and The Magnificent Seven. A lifelong smoker, Brynner died of lung cancer on October 10, 1985, at age 65. He famously warned against smoking in a PSA recorded shortly before his death. "Now that I'm gone, I tell you, don't smoke." Edward G. Robinson portrayed Dathan in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at the age of 62. Dathan is a cunning and self-serving Hebrew overseer who collaborates with the Egyptians for personal gain. Though born into the enslaved people of Israel, he betrays his own in exchange for wealth and status. When Moses leads the Hebrews out of bondage, Dathan remains a vocal critic and symbol of disobedience, ultimately helping incite the worship of the golden calf. His character personifies hypocrisy and cowardice masked as leadership. In real life, Edward G. Robinson was a legendary actor known for his roles in gangster films like Little Caesar and Key Largo. Born in Romania and raised in New York, he became one of Hollywood's most distinctive faces. Though never nominated for an Oscar, he received an honorary Academy Award posthumously. He died of bladder cancer on January 26, 1973, at the age of 79. Robinson left behind a vast legacy of over 100 films and was also an avid art collector and humanitarian. Ivon D Carlo portrayed Sephora in The Ten Commandments, 1956, when she was 34 years old. Sephora, the gentle and devout daughter of a Midianite priest, becomes Moses' wife after he flees Egypt. A model of strength and humility, she supports Moses during his years in exile and later stands faithfully by him during the Exodus. Though not at the center of divine miracles, her quiet presence provides emotional balance and human warmth to Moses' divine journey. Ivon D Carlo was already a screen beauty in the 1940s, but showed her dramatic depth in this role. She later gained renewed fame as Lily Munster in the 1960s sitcom The Munsters. Born in Canada, D Carlo transitioned between musicals, dramas, and television across 5 decades. She passed away on January 8, 2007, at the age of 84 due to natural causes. A versatile actress, she was also a trained singer and wrote an autobiography that revealed her resilience behind the glamour. Anne Baxter portrayed Nefertiti in The Ten Commandments, 1956, when she was 33 years old. Nefertiti, a beautiful Egyptian princess, is torn between love and power. Deeply in love with Moses, her heartbreak turns to bitterness when he chooses faith and destiny over her. As queen alongside Ramesses, she becomes manipulative and emotionally volatile, pushing Ramesses toward harsh decisions. Nefertiti represents personal longing, lost in the tides of history and faith. In real life, Anne Baxter had a rich career in film and theater, earning an Academy Award for The Razor's Edge, 1946, and acclaim for All About Eve. She came from a theatrical family. Her grandfather was famed architect Frank Lloyd Wright. Baxter remained active in TV and stage until her death. On December 12, 1985, she suffered a brain aneurysm and died 8 days later, on December 20, 1985, at the age of 62. Her grace and intensity on screen remain unforgettable. John Derek portrayed Joshua in The Ten Commandments, 1956, when he was 29 years old. Joshua, a brave and loyal Hebrew slave, becomes Moses' most trusted aide and the moral heart of the enslaved people. Strong in faith and action, Joshua defends the weak, leads with courage, and ultimately becomes the military leader who will guide the Israelites into the Promised Land after Moses' death. His devotion to both God and Moses marks him as a quiet but powerful figure in the film's spiritual narrative. In real life, John Derek was known as much for his striking looks as for his acting. He appeared in films like All the King's Men and Knock on Any Door, and later became a director. However, he gained more attention for his marriages to famous women, most notably actress Bo Derek. He stepped away from acting in the 1960s to focus on photography and directing. John Derek died of heart failure on May 22, 1998, at the age of 71. Though his career had ups and downs, his on-screen charisma remains undeniable. Cedric Hardwick portrayed Sethi in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at the age of 62. Pharaoh Sethi is the aging ruler of Egypt, caught between tradition, duty, and personal affection. A wise and fair monarch, he regards Moses as a beloved son and potential heir, favoring him over Ramesses. However, when Moses' Hebrew origins are revealed, Sethi is forced to deny him the throne, torn between politics and heartbreak. His character embodies the tragic weight of leadership and the cost of upholding empire over love. In real life, Sir Cedric Hardwick was one of Britain's most respected stage and screen actors, knighted at just 41 years old for his contributions to drama. He had a commanding voice and dignified presence, appearing in films such as The Hunchback of Notre Dame and Rope. Known for his Shakespearean gravitas, Hardwick worked steadily in both Hollywood and London. He died on August 6, 1964, at the age of 71 from emphysema. His legacy remains one of regal authority and classical excellence on screen and stage. Martha Scott portrayed Jochebed in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at the age of 43. Jochebed, the biological mother of Moses, is a Hebrew slave who risks everything to save her newborn son from Pharaoh's decree. Placing him in a basket on the Nile, she prays for his safety and later, heartbreakingly, becomes his servant without revealing her identity. When Moses learns the truth, Jochebed is both proud and resigned, embodying sacrificial love and quiet strength. Her faith and maternal courage ripple throughout Moses' destiny. Martha Scott was known for her powerful portrayals of maternal figures, having played Charlton Heston's mother not only in this film, but also in Ben-Hur. A classically trained actress, she received an Oscar nomination for her debut in Our Town, 1940. Off-screen, she co-founded the Plumstead Playhouse and supported live theater throughout her life. Martha Scott died on May 28, 2003, at the age of 90 from natural causes. Her grace and emotional depth left a lasting mark on American cinema. Nina Foch portrayed Bithia in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at the age of 32. Bithia, Pharaoh's daughter, defies Egyptian custom and adopts the infant Moses after finding him floating in a basket on the Nile. Raising him as her own, she shows immense love, courage, and compassion, choosing her heart over politics. Even after Moses is cast out, Bithia remains loyal, joining the Hebrews during the Exodus and renouncing her royal privilege. Her journey is one of profound maternal devotion and spiritual transformation. In real life, Nina Foch was a Dutch-born American actress and acting teacher, known for her elegance and versatility. She earned an Academy Award nomination for Executive Suite, 1954, and appeared in numerous classics including An American in Paris. Later in life, she taught directing and acting at USC, influencing a new generation of filmmakers. Nina Foch died on December 5, 2008, at the age of 84, due to complications from myelodysplastic syndrome. She is remembered as both a graceful performer and a beloved educator. John Keredine portrayed Aaron in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at the age of 50. Aaron, the brother of Moses, serves as his spokesman and loyal companion during the Exodus. Though less commanding than Moses, Aaron plays a crucial role in communicating God's will to the people, performing miracles like turning his staff into a serpent. His most controversial moment comes when he yields to the people's demand and helps create the golden calf, a moment of weakness that contrasts with his usual steadfastness. Despite this, Aaron is a figure of devotion and leadership. In real life, John Keredine was a prolific actor whose deep voice and gaunt features made him a fixture in horror films and westerns. He appeared in over 200 films, including Stagecoach and The Grapes of Wrath. He was the patriarch of the Keredine acting family, fathering actors David, Keith, and Robert. John Keredine passed away on November 27, 1988, at the age of 82 from multiple organ failure. He left behind one of the most extensive filmographies in Hollywood history. Judith Anderson portrayed Memnet in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at the age of 59. Memnet is the stern and loyal servant of Princess Bithiah, present when infant Moses is pulled from the Nile. She alone knows the truth of his Hebrew origins and keeps the swaddling cloth that identifies him. Years later, she attempts to expose Moses' heritage out of a sense of twisted loyalty to Egyptian law and royal lineage. Her confrontation with Nefertiti leads to her untimely death, symbolizing how secrets and ambition often meet a violent end. Dame Judith Anderson, a towering figure in classical theater, was best known for her chilling role as Mrs. Danvers in Rebecca, 1940. Born in Australia, she had a commanding stage presence and earned acclaim on Broadway and in Hollywood. She was made a Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire in 1960 for her services to drama. Judith Anderson passed away on January 3, 1992, at the age of 93 from natural causes. Her career, spanning over 7 decades, left behind a legacy of intense, unforgettable performances. Olive Dearing portrayed Miriam in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at the age of 37. Miriam is the sister of Moses, a wise and compassionate figure who watches over him from infancy. She plays a pivotal role in reuniting Moses with their birth mother and later becomes a spiritual leader among the Hebrews. Miriam is deeply faithful, often serving as a voice of conscience and encouragement. Her strength, both emotional and moral, sustains those around her during the Exodus. Despite moments of human jealousy and biblical accounts, the film portrays her with near unshakable loyalty and grace. In real life, Olive Dearing had a modest yet respected career in film, television, and theater. She also played Mary Magdalene in Samson and Delilah, 1949, showcasing her affinity for biblical roles. Though she never achieved major stardom, her performances were marked by quiet dignity. Olive Dearing passed away on March 22, 1986, at the age of 67 from cancer. She is remembered for bringing emotional depth to the often understated female roles of mid-century cinema. Frank Dacova portrayed Abiram in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at the age of 46. Abiram is one of the Hebrews who sides with Dathan, opposing Moses' leadership during the Exodus. Proud, cynical, and opportunistic, Abiram resents Moses' authority and helps foment rebellion. When the Hebrews create the golden calf, Abiram is among the ringleaders celebrating idolatry. His character symbolizes internal division among the oppressed, showing how fear and ambition can corrupt even the liberated. In biblical tradition, Abiram is punished by God, swallowed by the earth, though the film leaves his fate more symbolic. In real life, Frank Dacova was a versatile character actor, often cast as Native American chiefs or villains, due to his rugged appearance and intense gaze. He appeared in numerous films and TV shows, including Peyton Place and F Troop, where he played the comedic Chief Wild Eagle. Dova died of heart failure on October 15, 1981, at the age of 71. Though rarely a leading man, his presence was always memorable and impactful. Douglas Dumbril portrayed Janus in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at the age of 66. Janus is one of Pharaoh's high priests and chief magicians, serving alongside his counterpart, the equally skeptical magician, in opposition to Moses' divine message. When Moses confronts Pharaoh with signs and miracles, Janus attempts to replicate them through illusion and trickery. He represents the pride of the Egyptian priesthood, clinging to worldly knowledge and resisting spiritual truth. His arrogance is eventually humbled by the undeniable power of God. In real life, Douglas Dumbril was a Canadian-born actor known for his suave but villainous roles in films like Mr. Deeds Goes to Town and The Lives of a Bengal Lancer. With his distinct mustache and authoritative presence, he became a go-to character actor throughout the 1930s and 40s. Dumbril continued acting well into his later years and married a much younger woman in his 70s, famously defending it with humor. He died of a heart attack on April 2, 1974, at the age of 84. His legacy is one of elegant menace and seasoned screen professionalism. Edouard Franz portrayed Jethro in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at the age of 53. Jethro is the wise and benevolent Midianite priest who welcomes Moses into his tribe after he flees Egypt. As the father of Sephora and a spiritual leader in his own right, Jethro offers Moses not only shelter, but also a renewed sense of purpose. He is a man of peace and quiet wisdom, providing a contrast to Egypt's grandeur and cruelty. His character is instrumental in preparing Moses for his divine mission. In real life, Edouard Franz was a respected character actor with a distinguished career on both stage and screen. With his dignified appearance and soothing voice, he often portrayed scholars, priests, and authority figures in films such as The Caine Mutiny and Hatari. He also appeared in numerous TV roles throughout the 1960s and 70s. Edouard Franz passed away on February 10, 1983, at the age of 80. Though rarely in the spotlight, he brought quiet strength and integrity to every role he played. Henry Coxin portrayed Pentar in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at the age of 50. Pentar is an Egyptian military officer and royal courtier who serves under Pharaoh Sethi. Though a minor character, Pentar symbolizes the silent majority within the Egyptian hierarchy, those who witness the unfolding conflict between Moses and Ramesses but remain loyal to the throne. Calm and composed, Pentar maintains a strong presence in court scenes, reflecting authority without ambition. His character acts as a visual anchor to the film's grandeur. In real life, Henry Coxin was closely associated with legendary director Cecil B. DeMille, appearing in multiple epics, including Cleopatra, 1934, and Unconquered. Known for his patrician looks and commanding voice, Coxin later worked as an associate producer, often collaborating with DeMille behind the scenes. He also served in the U.S. Coast Guard during World War II. Coxin died on March 6, 1984, at the age of 78, after suffering multiple strokes. His contributions to Golden Era Hollywood span both screen and production, making him a true cinematic statesman. Julia Fay portrayed Elisheba in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at the age of 63. Elisheba is the wife of Aaron and sister-in-law to Moses. Though her role in the film is limited and largely symbolic, she represents the strength and faith of Hebrew women who stand quietly behind their husbands during times of great spiritual transformation. Her character reflects loyalty and familial unity in the midst of chaos. In real life, Julia Fay had a long-standing relationship with Cecil B. DeMille, appearing in more than 30 of his films, often as supporting royalty, priestesses, or noblewomen. She transitioned from silent film to sound with grace and served as a muse of sorts for DeMille's early epics. The Ten Commandments was her final film appearance, closing out a career that began in 1915. Julia Fay died on April 6, 1966, at the age of 73, from cancer. Though never a household name, she holds a unique place in film history as one of DeMille's most enduring screen presences. Woody Strode portrayed the King of Ethiopia in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at the age of 42. The King of Ethiopia appears briefly in the court of Pharaoh Sethi, offering tribute to Egypt. Though his role is small, the character adds depth to the portrayal of Egypt's international influence, and his presence signifies the grandeur and diplomacy of the ancient world. Dressed in ornate costume, the Ethiopian king brings visual diversity and royal majesty to the ceremonial scenes. In real life, Woody Strode was a trailblazer, one of the first African-American actors to break racial barriers in Hollywood. Before acting, he was a professional football player and one of the first black athletes to play in the NFL. He earned acclaim for his roles in Spartacus and Sergeant Rutledge, often portraying noble warriors or leaders. Strode passed away on December 31st, 1994, at the age of 80 from lung cancer. His imposing physique and quiet dignity made him a powerful presence on screen and a symbol of progress in American cinema. H.B. Warner portrayed Amminadab in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at the age of 81. Amminadab is one of the oldest Hebrews depicted in the film, a man who has lived his entire life in bondage, witnessing cruelty and hardship across generations. Despite his age and frailty, he joins the Exodus, his face filled with awe and gratitude as freedom becomes a reality. He represents the enduring spirit of a people who never gave up hope. In real life, H.B. Warner was born in 1876 and became best known for playing Jesus Christ in Cecil B. DeMille's The King of Kings, 1927. With his dignified presence, he was often cast in priestly or noble roles. Later, he played memorable supporting parts in It's a Wonderful Life and Lost Horizon. Warner passed away on December 21st, 1958, just 2 years after The Ten Commandments premiered at the age of 82. His long career bridged the silent and sound eras, leaving behind a legacy of gravitas and spiritual intensity. Lawrence Dobkin portrayed Ben Caleb in The Ten Commandments, 1956, at the age of 36. Ben Caleb is a Hebrew artisan and leader who represents the skilled class among the enslaved people of Egypt. Though a minor character in the film, he embodies pride in cultural identity and resilience. Supports Moses' vision of freedom and helps coordinate efforts during the Exodus. His quiet presence and moral conviction provide a counterbalance to figures like Dathan and Abiram. In real life, Lawrence Dobkin was an incredibly versatile performer, actor, writer, director, and voice artist. He appeared in hundreds of radio programs, numerous TV shows like The Twilight Zone and Star Trek, and directed episodes of The Munsters and The Waltons. His deep, authoritative voice made him a frequent narrator for documentaries and commercials. Dobkin died on October 28, 2002, at the age of 83 from heart failure. His multifaceted career made him a respected behind-the-scenes craftsman and character actor across generations of media. Who's your favorite character from The Ten Commandments? It's always tough to say goodbye to beloved cast members who are no longer with us. How does that make you feel? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you're enjoying our content, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated. We appreciate having you in our community.